In real numbers, this feels perfectly safe. The cube root of 1 is 1, the cube root of -1 is -1, and they add to 0. Clean, unique, done. But now watch what happens in complex numbers. We know I plus negative I equals 0, so you'd expect the cube roots to behave the same, right? Here's the trap. Complex cube roots are not unique. Each number has 3 cube roots, 3 answers, spaced evenly around the complex plane. So if you pick the principal cube root of I and the principal cube root of negative I, their sum is not 0. It becomes square root of 3. Now let's map all the roots and see why a reasonable choice gives a totally unexpected result. With complex roots, a minus sign becomes a trap. First, keep the minus sign inside the cube root. Cube root of negative I equals e to the negative I pi over 6. Now pull the minus sign outside. Minus the cube root of I equals e to the I 7 pi over 6. Same input, different angles, because the principal cube root depends on which angle you choose. So the takeaway is cube root of negative I is not equal to minus cube root of I. This is a key branch cut idea. If a complex number is e to the I theta, its cube roots come from dividing the angle by 3. Now put I on the unit circle. It sits at pi over 2, so we write I equals e to the I pi over 2. Divide that angle by 3, and the principal cube root is I to the 1/3 equals e to the I pi over 6. Now do negative I. Negative I is at minus pi over 2, so negative I equals e to the negative I pi over 2. Divide by 3 again. Negative I to the 1/3 equals e to the negative I pi over 6. Here's the surprise. Minus I to the 1/3 is not the same thing, because minus the principal root points to a different angle. Minus I to the 1/3 equals e to the I 7 pi over 6. So the takeaway is cube root of negative I is not equal to minus cube root of I. With complex roots, the geometry does all the explaining. Take the principal cube root of I, it points to e to the I pi over 6, and the principal cube root of negative I points to e to the negative I pi over 6. Now notice what that means. These two vectors have the same real part, but opposite imaginary parts. They're complex conjugates, perfect mirror images across the real axis. So when we add them, the imaginary pieces cancel. Plus 1/2 I and minus 1/2 I vanish. All that's left is the real component, twice the cosine. So we use the identity. E to the I theta plus e to the negative I theta equals 2 cosine theta. Here theta is pi over 6, so the sum becomes 2 cosine pi over 6, which equals square root of 3. We just saw one pairing. E to the I pi over 6 plus e to the negative I pi over 6 gives square root of 3. But here's the bigger picture. I doesn't have 1 cube root, it has 3. And negative I also has 3. So if you solve z cubed equals I, the roots are spaced by 2 pi over 3 around the unit circle. E to the I pi over 6, e to the I 5 pi over 6, and e to the I 3 pi over 2. For w cubed equals negative I, you get another triangle of roots, e to the negative I pi over 6, e to the I pi over 2, and e to the I 7 pi over 6. Now plot all 6 points together and you literally see 2 interlocking triangles, a star shape. Here's the punchline. The sum depends on how you pair them. Pair the vertical ones, e to the I 3 pi over 2 with e to the I pi over 2. They cancel perfectly and give 0. Pair the left ones, e to the I 5 pi over 6 with e to the I 7 pi over 6. Imaginary parts cancel and you land at minus square root of 3. And for the principal choice, you get the headline result. I to the 1/3 plus negative I to the 1/3, using the principal roots equals square root of 3. Thanks for watching.